Hey everybody, it's Shadowstar and Crystal here for another review of Legends of Tomorrow. This time it's Welcome to the Jungle.
So, Grodd.
Grodd's back once again. It's time for our annual Grodd episode. Except this time it's not in the Flash, it's in Legends. But yeah, we've got to have Grodd once a season. He's back once again. This time he wants to, I don't know, take over the Vietnam War and then go back in time and then take over the world and start World War III by sparking conflict through the Vietnam War.
Yeah, but once he gets the idea of time travel, he's like, alright, I'm going to somehow change the course of evolution and make humans not exist and just have a world of gorillas.
Well, that's easy. He'll just go and kill off anyone who looks like an emerging human.
True.
Sure, that'll work. Whatever. Sarah's still asleep because of what happened in the previous episode, so she spends most of the episode asleep or on the Wave Rider.
But now that I think about it, it could have been Grodd's help that caused her to wake up as early as she did.
Maybe. It's a little unclear. Maybe it is. Who knows? The real reason, of course, is that Katie Lotz was busy filming the upcoming crossover. That's why she had to sit out a lot of this episode. That happens with some of these shows sometimes, where they have to make certain characters either sit out or not have certain scenes with other characters because they're busy. But yeah. Anyway, this is a big episode for Mick, which is something you don't often get to say.
Yeah.
You rarely get an episode for Mick, and it's because it's really hard to do a Mick episode well, because he's not a character you give crazy scenes to. Like, you know, most of his stuff is comic relief. And even here, you have to tread very carefully about doing character development. Because you don't, you know, Mick's a character you don't want to give too much character development to, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think this episode worked really well for Mick. Obviously, you've still got the Firestorm plot in the background, which means this is a big episode for Jax, because he wants to prove he can do it. Because, you know, when Stein was working on the formula, they said, oh, we could get this done, but none of you would have powers.
Yeah, the easy way to do it would be for no one to have powers, but Stein really, really wants to fix it so that Jax can be Firestorm alone.
But Jax is ready to face the chance that he may not have powers, so that means they could be able to solve it if Jax is willing to take that sacrifice.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, I enjoyed this episode. Grodd's an interesting villain, and I actually didn't mind Grodd. You know, sometimes I've been half and half on Grodd episodes. It was a good Grodd episode.
Yeah.
A good Mick episode. Some nice Stein and Jax scenes. I enjoy, like I said, I always enjoy when we go back in history, particularly 20th century history, of course. So this time it's the Vietnam War, at the height of the Vietnam War and the Cold War. So that's fun too. So it's got all the elements I love. It's not as much a crazy, silly episode like some of the more recent ones. Not to say that this is a bad one, but it's I don't know, you know what I mean, right? It's not as lighthearted as, say, the previous one or the Ray one or stuff like that.
It just randomly makes me think, because we've been at the height of the Cold War before, and it just makes me think somebody should pinpoint what moment in history has the most iterations of the legends present. Like there's multiple copies of them in existence.
They're not at the same time. The Cold War lasted almost roughly 40 years.
Yeah.
You know, they were at the height of the Cold War at the INF Treaty in Season 2, but that was in, what was it, 85 something? No, it was a little beyond that. And, you know, this is 1967 in the Vietnam War.
I'm not saying this is the best example, but there's got to be a few times where they're in roughly the same time.
I don't think there's ever a point at they're the same time. I don't know if they've visited I think they've visited World War II twice. I think they've visited World War I once. You know, they've been through, you can't really say they're in the Cold War because, like, well, they're in the Vietnam War, which is a proxy war of the Cold War. You know, you had the Americans sponsoring South Vietnam and North Vietnam sponsored by the Russians. But, you know, you can't say it's a Cold War because that's like, what, from 1945 to basically 1990 when the USSR dissolved. But anyway, getting out of history, as fun as it is to discuss, this was an enjoyable episode.
I'll just go 7.5. It's still good.
I'll give it an 8.5. Another really good season 3 episode. And it was nice to give some of the other characters a shot. And don't worry, we'll have plenty more good Firestorm scenes and Sarah scenes coming up. Anyway, what is the next episode called?
Crisis on Earth X.
Oh boy, we're almost there, and I can't wait. There's a lot. Don't worry. If you're worried that the legends wouldn't get time to shine, a lot of legends, well, some of the legends will get some time to shine soon.
Yep.
But anyway, we'll see you next time for more legends and other things as well. See you next time, guys.